Hi, for my final speech, I'm going to talk about the habit of procrastination. Procrastination is something that I wrote about a few times at the beginning of this class. It's something that I decided that I wanted to be more mindful and aware of moving forward through the semester as I finished out my degree. It's something I realized the more I thought about it, the more I was open to it, that I struggled with pretty severely. Doing research, I was comforted in the fact that I'm not the only person who does this. Research shows that 25 to 75% of college students procrastinate on academic work on a regular basis. And when I started to think about that, I said, that sounds a little light. I feel like more of us do that. And sure enough, I found more studies that indicated that 80 to 95% of college students procrastinate on a regular basis when it comes to assignments and homework. A study in the late 1990s showed procrastination to be the number one reasons that PhD candidates never finish their dissertations. We talk about this in education, and it's indicated that college students specifically struggle with this the biggest, but it was also shown that around 20% of US adults are chronic procrastinators. I want to share with you some of the reasons people procrastinate, some of the common reasons that I came up with and that I found in different research articles, and then I'll share with you a little bit more of my experience. Some of the reasons include overestimation of time they have left to perform tasks, overestimation of how motivated an individual will be in the future, thinking that, I'll be more likely to do that later versus now, underestimation of how long certain activities will take to complete, not knowing what needs to be done, not knowing how to do something, not wanting to do something, not caring if it gets done or it doesn't get done, being in the habit of waiting until the last minute, believing that you work better under pressure. We've all heard that before. Lacking the initiative to get started. Sometimes getting started is just the hardest part, but things flow after that. And delaying one task in favor of another. My experience has improved because I decided that this is something I wanted to work on. It was mostly my motivation to change my habits that really affected that. And it was hard at first to put my entertainment aside. I would decide I need to relax, I need to unwind, so I'd open up Netflix and just binge watch some good TV shows. And I forced myself to stop doing that so much and started forcing myself to do some homework up front to get that done first. And what I realized is that I was actually more relaxed doing the homework first because it meant that I could sit down and relax knowing that I had been productive and knowing that there was nothing immediately pending versus sitting down to try and relax, forcing yourself to relax, but you can't really because you know that you have something to do in the background. So I created a spectrum or a continuum of the habit as we see in our final speech assignment preparation there, and I took my least desirable and my most desirable and then compared to what I'm currently able to do. On the least desirable side of my spectrum is me completely ignoring and disregarding homework for forced relaxation and unwinding. I'll sit down on the couch, turn on Netflix, won't even think about homework until that crunch time when it's due right at the end. The most desirable would be me setting boundaries that actually prevent me from procrastinating, from watching movies, watching TV, and ignoring my homework. And it would not allow me to do any of that until all my homework was done. That's not incredibly realistic, and I found where I am now is that I'm actually able to identify the desire to try and relax and to push off my homework and to do something else first. And now that I'm able to notice when that feeling comes, I'm able to say to myself, hey, maybe I should get a little homework done. Now that doesn't always work right now yet, but at least I'm aware of the problem. And how I've been working on that is trying to force myself just to get a couple hours of homework done, maybe before I try and relax, or even just saying, hey, let me get one assignment done. Let me just open up my homework and do a little before I relax. And that's helped me to start to change that habit, and I hope that continues to get better until I reach the most desirable end of the spectrum where I get everything I need to get done first before I let myself unwind. And I know that unwinding and relaxing is important. But like I said before, I think that I can do that even better when everything's done versus trying to force myself to relax, but always knowing that there's something else to do. I also need to understand that failure is okay and be forgiving of myself when I don't execute this perfectly. There are times where I will need to put my homework away, and sometimes procrastination might be something that I do because I need to, but I'm going to continue to try and learn that doing all the homework, doing all the work, doing all the responsibilities up front allows me to unwind better and is actually more healthy for me in the long run. I want to tackle everything that I set out to do in a really healthy and productive way. I want to do everything to the best of my ability, and I think working to fight procrastination is going to let me do that. So I hope in this speech and moving forward this semester, you guys can think about that and maybe take some of what I've shared and just feeling that impulse to procrastinate and saying, no, I'm going to get some done now, and begin to start shifting that for yourself. It's been incredibly beneficial for me, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work on it and give myself forgiveness, but continue to grow the motivation to always work first, relax second. Thanks.